What are your WTF family traditions? The ants fight. I mean, like literally fight. They will get wasted and just get louder and louder, and then one will shout something along the lines of, "You want to back that up?" And then they will go outside and fight. We all watch and cheer for our favorite ant to win, and sometimes we will even videotape the fight so that we can watch it later and laugh about it. It is pretty normal. Edit: I should point that after they fight, they hug it out. It never gets too bad. Maybe a bloody nose or a black eye or something, but we just let them go at it until it is clearly a tie. They are just punching back and forth with no winner, or there is a very clear winner. I think the biggest injury that has ever happened was a broken bone, but the ant who broke the other's bone, I think she broke her arm or something, drove her to the hospital. Edit 2, I did not let her drive drunk. It just kinda happened. It was not like we giggled that she grabbed her keys and left or something. They were both there 1 minute, next minute they were gone and at the hospital. It is not like it was some grandiose farewell that they made on their way out. They just went inside, found out they needed to go to the hospital, then left. Nobody even realized they left until they did. Every year on Christmas, before we could open anything, my dad used to make us do the Ninja Turtles dance. He would take lead and my sister and I would have to do it behind him while my mom recorded it. Thinking back, I find it hilarious. I like this one a lot. It's just fun and good-natured. It was so embarrassing growing up, but thinking back, I love my dad for it. My mother has always put a cow puppet on top of the Christmas tree instead of an angel. We used to have Shaun the sheep. Weird times. It's more between my brother and I than our whole family. Whenever we'd eat at a fast food place, we would play the last fry, and it was just that, the one that ate the last fry won. Sometimes we'd hide it for hours, then eat it and say, "Mighty tastes so good when it's the last fry." One time I put my fry in my backpack and found it a couple weeks later. Totally won that time. I love this because I know how this game developed without needing to be told. Stupid sibling games are the best. I don't know if it's WTF, but in my family, we go to the graveyard on Christmas Eve and pour the dead relatives' favorite drinks on their gravestones. I am from Denmark. One for the homies. _ When I was a kid, the aunts and uncles would get all the kids a gallon of their favorite ice cream on the 4th of July. They would sit us down at a table and give us all our ice cream at the same time. Here's the fun part. The first kid to tackle the entire gallon of ice cream got $5. This always led to all of us kids eating ice cream very quickly, and thus getting brain freeze, ice cream headache. Within minutes there are a half dozen children roaming the backyard clutching at their sinuses in pain while adults laugh at them. I'm so glad I finally caught on. How long between the headaches and vomiting? Whenever we make a turkey or goose for Thanksgiving and Christmas, we have to slap it. I don't know why. The slapping takes place when the turkey is in the roasting pan. You just slap it with moderate force, about the force you would use to slap a fly or mosquito on your leg. Whenever I asked my grandmom, she would sing "It's tradition," and never answer the question beyond that. Whenever any one of us has to take an exam, they take a single uncooked potato with them. This has been tradition ever since my grandpa found one in his pocket after acing his driving test. We're not a particularly superstitious family otherwise, but the potato has proven itself indispensable. Terry Pratchett has mentioned something called the Potato Church a couple of times, a religion based on the simple belief that everything will be alright as long as you have your potato. I'm pretty sure you and your family are the first real-world adherents of this religion. My sister accidentally started a tradition when she was a kid. She wandered into my parents' room one evening after watching TV and asked them, "Who is John Belushi?" I think she was 8 or 9 at the time. My parents, who were big fans, told her who he was and then asked her why she wanted to know. Her response was, "Oh, he died," and she wandered out of the room. She did the same thing about a week later with another celebrity, and my parents, having forgotten about how she asked about John Belushi, responded the same way, explaining who the celebrity was and then asking why, and got the same response from my sister, "Oh, he died." Now whenever there is a celebrity death, everyone in my family and several family friends rush to call/text someone else in the family so they can be the first person to report it, and the call/text always starts with "who is _", and usually the other person responds with "oh no, how did they die?" The person who manages to tell someone else first usually is referred to as winning that round. We're a little morbid. Hound stealing. It's close to sacrilege in our family, but that doesn't stop us. Our dogs, 2 whippets and a treeing Walker Coon hound, sleep in our beds with us, and on cold winter nights we'll sometimes sneak into each other's rooms and steal a dog out from under the covers and carry them to our own beds. Edit. By sometimes I mean every single night. I cracking up just imagining the dogs being like, WTF dude, I was comfortable and now it's all cold and... oh, we are in another bed? Oh, warm. Okay, cool, good night. My grandma used to take us junkin'. As an adult I realized what we were doing is stealing from the Salvation Army. Mac? That was probably the next family coming in to get their presents. My brother and I both got a cake when we grew our first pube. Didn't think it was too weird at the time. Just wanted cake. My family threw a pizza party when I had my first period. Mom, why is there so much tomato puree on mine? Not my family, but my ex-girlfriend who is Ukrainian, this fact is important to the story, has really weird family traditions. When she was in elementary school her dad used to wake her and her brother up 2 hours before school every day. Then he would put on a cassette tape of Ukrainian folk songs and they would take turns singing. When one of them finished a song he would hold up a card with a number between 1 and 10 written on it to rate their performance. Still cracks me up when I think about it. Her family did a lot of weird things. My great-grandma used to do body shots off of babies. Whenever a family member would come over with their baby, my great-grandma would check to see if the soft spot on their head had closed up. If it hadn't, she'd put tequila on the soft spot and suck it off of our heads. She did it apparently to close the hole faster, because evil spirits come in from that hole and she believed that it took them out. Some of my aunts still do this. Despite some other odd ones, this is the only one I really stared at and slowly said, "What the duck?" It's not really WTF unless you weren't warned. Every year our Thanksgiving consists of all the neighborhood strays, usually around 25 people. The food is glorious and wine is plentiful. When everyone is seated for dinner, my dad does a toast and then turns on the song Alice's Restaurant. Our entire family and regular guests sing the song as it's being played. The newcomers are usually a little mortified and stunned that 20 people are singing the same song around the dinner table. B, we know all the words. C, the song is so damn long. I've grown to love this tradition. Duck, yeah. It's not a proper Thanksgiving without Arlo. My brother-in-law thought the 3 wolf moon shirts were hilarious so he bought one. My husband also thought it was funny so he bought one with more wolves on it, to up the ante. My sister and I then bought a wolf shirt for my dad so he could fit in with the guys. They wear these shirts in public when they are all together and call themselves the Wolf Pack. My parents even named their boat 3 Wolf Moon. My sister and I are both due to have little boys this winter. We are on the hunt for wolf onesies. I get a glass of champagne shoved into my hand as soon as I wake up on Christmas morning. Instant tipsy. Only if WTF means wow, that's ducking awesome. Plot twist, he is 6 years old. We always call each other after boarding a plane and say, "I regret nothing," before hanging up. My daughter-in-law is horrified by this. You also have a tradition related to the last phone call before a flight? My family has one as well. I'll send you a postcard from Bangladesh. None of us ever has been to Bangladesh or plans to go there. There's a story behind it but it is convoluted and weird. Go on. Easter, we reenact that scene from Indiana Jones where Indy has to pick the correct grail. 4 siblings, 3 martini glasses full of vodka. One of them is filled with water. We all guess and the winner doesn't take 3 shots of vodka at once. I think this started my junior year of HS. Thanksgiving, the morning of Thanksgiving we all wake up at 8 a.m. and go to a rifle range. Usually we are either still drunk from the night before or suffering from terrible hangovers. It is just a rifle target contest and the winner gets a silver martini glass. Added regarding safety. There is only one rifle, it is a bolt-action single shot from the 20s. I am not running around a field. It's a range. Safety is a concern. Being hungover is not part of the competition. Judgment is not impaired. I am not advocating using firearms while intoxicated. July 5th, well the past 2 years have been driving me home from the drunk tank. I don't think that is a tradition yet. My extended family gives an award every Christmas to the family member who is voted to have done the dumbest thing that year. The trophy is a gold crown that must be displayed prominently in the winner's house for the rest of the year. Past winning events have included, sneezing and crashing a bike, sinking a rowboat, boarding the wrong bus in London, mistaking a Nerf football for a cardinal, hitting a small dog while on bike, and getting hit by a bus. You have to have thick skin to be a member of my family. Every once in a while, my mother gets this idea that we don't have enough traditions. So, she makes some up. Oh, let's hold hands during prayer like we always do. We have literally never done that. The men in my family have epic towel fights at most get-togethers. We've been doing it for nearly a decade and we play pretty rough. Welts, bruises, and some occasional blood is shed. It's barbaric. It's painful. It's a good show. I await the creation of the YouTube channel. I am just picturing a guy jumping off a couch gladiator style in slow motion swinging a towel at another person. Before my grandpa passed, my mom and him would give each other this set of ceramic teeth that were salt and pepper shakers. They would elaborately hide them in things when giving them back to the other person. I remember them showing up in at least 2 different pies, my birthday cake, a sealed box of crackling oat bran, mashed potatoes, a meatloaf at a restaurant, Sven and a stuffed animal my sister got for Christmas, and the list goes on and on. I have an unnecessary fear of teeth now. When we were on a family vacation to Florida, we passed a pool supply center called Pinch a Penny. My sister saw this and shouted, "Pinch a penny, poke a penis." We've all grown up now, but when my parents go down the same route to Florida every year, they'll prank call all of us, screaming "Pinch a penny, poke a penis" into the phone and hanging up. My uncle used to order everyone in a bar a shot of blackberry brandy. After my uncle died, my dad started doing it, particularly at family functions. Now that my dad's passed, we, my brothers and mom, carry on the tradition even though it's the most disgusting liquid ever invented. Not really WTF, but people always ask why we gag it down when clearly none of us enjoy it. For the last 8 years my brothers and I have surgically removed a cyst from my mother's head every Thanksgiving or Christmas, 1 year both. It started Thanksgiving 2005, 2 of my brothers had just finished their first year as surgical technicians, and we had a couple nurses and an anesthetist around. My mother had always grown these horrible cysts on her head, but refused to go get them taken care of because she hated doctors and logic. So that Thanksgiving my oldest brother had enough, and after lots of ribbing, convinced mom to let us cut one out. We cut out the first one using discarded medical supplies from the hospital and some local anesthetics that my brother had liberated in anticipation of his plan. The procedure was successful. My youngest brother only passed out once and we've cut one out every year since. Mom no longer looks like she has aliens coming out of her head, and we all get to work out our childhood frustrations by safely and carefully taking a scalpel to her head. Added of course the comment about my gross family explodes, "I love you Reddit." Also to all the PMS, she doesn't have cancer, she's actually a nurse herself, isn't that ducking hilarious? And no, we do not make house calls on Easter, smile. My mom couldn't remember if there was a mythical creature associated with birthdays like there is for Christmas, Easter, losing teeth, etc. So in a panic she made one up, hoping it was the right one. We grew up with the birthday platypus. My mom's logic after inventing the birthday platypus was that she couldn't get rid of him without probably also destroying Santa Claus, so she kept him around. It didn't help my brother and I with not being the weird kids at school when asking other kids what the birthday platypus brought them. 20 years later and we still celebrate with the birthday platypus. Irish Catholic Jenga, oh man, I'm marketing this. We go to Hooters on Thanksgiving. We aren't oblivious to it being a weird tradition. My immediate family travels about 5 hours for Thanksgiving. We tend to do Thanksgiving dinner at like 2 to 3 p.m. to allow those who need to visit other households. Since my siblings, I am one of 5, plus their SON children, my dad, stepmom and myself travel there, we don't really have anything to do after family time winds down. The elderly family members stay with my great aunt and uncle, and we all stay in a hotel nearby. At about 7 to 8 p.m. the elders tend to be settling in for the night and we head back to the hotel and often begin to get hungry again due to really having a late lunch and never really eating dinner. In years past we would just try to find a pizza place or something, but about 9 years ago we started going out for dinner. It is Thanksgiving so there are only a few options: IHOP, Waffle House and Hooters. On the inaugural Hooters Thanksgiving my sister was pregnant and swore she would throw up if we had IHOP or Waffle House. Hooters stuck as our annual post-Thanksgiving dinner. My mother slapped me hard when I got my first period. It was so unexpected. Just googled it and apparently it's a Jewish custom. Just thought my family was crazy. Because getting your period isn't bad enough. Plus, my father bought me a cake after. Humiliating. We make brownies when it rains on Sunday. No idea why, just something we do. Happens every month or two. Yum, brownies. Instead of putting a star or angel on top of our Christmas tree, we have this 3-foot-long orange and purple plush snake I wanted in an amusement park years ago. I put it up one year as a joke and it stayed there. The next year we decided to do it again. We named him Jake the Christmas Snake. He even has a short song. Jake, Jake the Christmas Snake. Merry Merry Christmas, like a snake. My family orders Chinese takeout each Christmas Eve. I think they finally got sick of cooking for everyone in one year, just said, "Duck it. We're ordering Chinese food." My dad is one of 12, so we usually have a giant family reunion every year, 40 people. It starts out all nice, but then the liquor starts flowing. Every year for the past decade we've gotten piss drunk and then someone fights someone. The fighting is not on purpose. It just seems to happen and is usually different people every year. It's been a running gag that it's not a family Christmas until a fight breaks out. I recalled this in a thread a while back, and I'm not sure it's really all that WTF, but we celebrate Groundhog's Day as a really big deal. We get together and eat cake and watch the movie. It's fun. I celebrate Groundhog's Day as well because it's also my birthday. Thanks for listening to another episode of Reddit X. Subscribe and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any stories. Feel free to share your own stories below in the comments. Have a good day.